Hi, JC here with another Pacific Fen Spotlight. Now today's show is going to be a little bit different. Rather than showcasing a convention or an event like we normally would, we're going to be showcasing a person, that being Alexander James Adams. Now, Alexander Adams is a wonderful musician, fantastic fiddler. There are no words in any earthen language that could conceivably describe the wondrous beauty that is this man's fiddling. And that's not all he does. He does a whole myriad of other instruments too, and he's fantastic at all of them. And I had the fortune of going to Rainforest this year, and he did a Q&A and allowed me to tape that. Now, of course, can't show you the whole thing, so I had to cut it up a little bit, but I hope you enjoy it and get a little more insight into the wonderful person that is Alexander James Adams.
Okay, Alexander James Adams is here. You guys have questions, I have answers. Fire away. What do you need to know? What would you like to know? Why are we all here?
There you go.
Well, stag.
Stag?
Yes, one of the white stags. That's me. It took me a while to find that out, though I actually kind of have a dual persona because being on stage and off stage. On stage, I represent the Heatherlands, and Heather Alexander was an otter, and there still is an otter on the stage. Off the stage, however, is when the stag comes out. So when I'm just by myself, just being who I am, I'm a stag. But when I get up on that stage and I put a fiddle in my hands, I'm an otter, because otters just like to play. So, who am I in the fandom? That's a good question. Sometimes I don't know the answer myself. I am the heir to a 20-year career of Heather Alexander, singer-songwriter. And she retired her voice 2 years ago, and I took her place. That is the official story. In a more direct nutshell, Heather Alexander was transgender. And I was always there. I always had been there, but the two of us together were not happy the way we were. And finally, after enough years and enough misery, meeting the right people saying, no, you really got to do what you got to do for yourself. It's important. And that was when Heather turned around and said, well, I've been singing about all these songs about empowering yourself and living your dreams and following your heart, and if I take one more step in this direction of denial, I will be a hypocrite. So, it basically came to that. Thank you. So it was a tough call. It was not easy. It took a year to get to. It was kind of funny because I kind of felt like the guy in Princess Bride at one point, because I was sitting there and I was talking to my soon-to-be wife, and I'm like, I got 3 albums to make, 1 DVD, 1 songbook, Heather to kill, and my fiance to blame for it. I'm exhausted. Yeah, and it got to that. It was really quite an intense 2 years process, because I did 6 albums total in the studio. I did 3 while I still had my female voice, and then I kind of pre-planned for a 4th album. I did some pre-recording ahead of time, and then I hit the deck, and I took 4 months hiding away from humanity while I transformed enough to be able to walk amongst the real folk and have them say sir instead of ma'am. And so I took 4 months where nobody saw me. Disappeared, nobody saw me at all. And I came to my first performance at NorwestCon the following year as Alexander James, and I put together a real quick album of just fiddle music, which was all the fiddle tunes prior, because it's like, well, you don't hear the voice, you don't know who's playing. I was playing fiddle the whole time. I taught Heather everything she knows. So I put that all together onto one album, put my face on it, and called it my album, and then went to work on 3 actual vocal albums. And the second one was The Wintertide, which was the holiday album, which was my old voice as Heather and my new voice as Alexander together doing duets, which for the holiday season was really kind of a neat idea, because as I was saying earlier, it's an album that celebrates unity. It's not just Christian songs, and there's little touches of pagan, and there's little touches of just let's all just be friends and stay warm this winter. And I thought, what a great time to take the two voices and work them in unison together in songs and harmony. And I'm never going to get this chance again. It doesn't happen every day. You might as well have fun. If you're going to go do something this life-changing, you might as well enjoy what you're doing while you're doing it. I had taken pretty much a year to work with this up here and get it straight and plan the whole thing. So as people would see Heather on the stage, what they were actually seeing was Alexander portraying Heather, but nobody knew that. But I dropped subtle little hints on the stage, just kind of setting people up and feeling people out how they were going to react. And then the retirement was actually at Oricon. Heather did a final concert, which was recorded on the one and only DVD of her performances, where at the end of the show, she basically starts talking to the audience and tells them a story, and the fairies start talking around her. You can hear them talking to her. And she's like, I'm coming, I'm on my way. And finally, at the very end, she steps through this gateway that I had built out of alder trees and bound it all together. And she steps through that door, curtains close, and you never see Heather's face again, ever. No one ever sees her again. And so there was about a month time delay in November between that and winter solstice, which is when I took my first testosterone shot. Which when they tell you they don't know what's going to happen, they don't know how long your voice takes to change. Mine cracked in 3 days after the first shot.
Wow.
So obviously it was something my body really wanted to do. And so I in that 1 month, I had recorded what I needed to record, or guessed at things. And then I went and I worked on Wintertide this last winter. And my voice still hadn't settled, and it's kind of fun because there was one song I was writing, and I got to it, and I'm like, God, if I just had Heather's voice, the harmony line would go like this. And I started to hum it, and I went, oh my God, I have a falsetto. And I reached and I grabbed the microphone, and I just sang straight into it and caught this little voice. And then I went to my brother's house, who is actually my engineer, and we sat in front of the microphone, and I warmed my voice up so that I could get those notes and those tonalities. It was really very funny. It was hard to do because once you get your voice warmed up to a high level like that, you don't want to do anything to relax the muscles or drop that placement. So you talk in that same voice. So, and of course, I was trying to relax all the energy and try to access that tonality and that attitude. So I'm standing here with my headphones on and my hands are covering over my ears, and I'm talking, and then I'm listening to my brother. I'm like, yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah, I think we could use that take. Maybe I should try one more. And my voice is like way up here. And my sister-in-law, who's been really quiet the whole time in the room, was sitting on a big beanbag chair, and I saw her start to get red in the face, listening to this little, boy talking. Oh, yes, that's just perfect. She grabs a pillow, throws it over her head, rolls over, and starts bouncing up and down in the beanbag. I knew she was laughing her ass off at me. It was funnier than hell. But and I couldn't, I had to try really hard not to think about how silly I must look to the rest of the world, going, oh, that's just perfect. Oh, yeah. And my little hands are up here in the air, and I'm just totally being completely opposite of what I have worked so hard to be. It's like, wow, this is a quite a mind change right now. But it was really fun. And
I scream and shout so you can hear. I tell you that the end is near. I still can't stand, I still can't think. You win me with my favorite drink. Give me that glass, though I feel asinine. And if I can't grump, I'll drink plum wine.